everyone, my name is Jordan, also known as Scraps, and today I will be teaching you kind of three different synths. They're each very growly, very distinct. And they're quite unique if you can use them with dubstep. Anyways, I'm going to show you how to create one of these sounds, and I think it's ribs. Now it's actually called the electric eel. Anyways, I'll play you through this demo example and, show you how to make it. So I'm just going to loop a section right here. We actually use a lot of different techniques with this. We actually use a subtractor when dealing with the shaper. So I'll show you how to make this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my utilities and create a combinator. Inside this combinator, I'm going to go to my instruments and choose a blank instance of Maelstrom. What I'm going to do is first I want to set the polyphony instead of 7. I want to set that down to 1. And for the range, I want to set this to 1 as well. I want to turn up the index to 24. And that about does it for the modulation section. I'm going to take off modulation A and mod B. We don't need those. For my first sound, instead of a sine wave, I'm going to choose a throat sound. Let's see. I believe I turn up the index to 29. So let's do that. Now if you can't get those finite numbers, just hold shift when still holding the knob, or you can still hold shift and move it, and it will give you the same results. I'm going to bring my motion all the way down and route it to shaper. Make sure shaper is on, make sure filter B is off, and make sure routing to filter B to shaper is on. Make sure filter A is off, and you're good to go. For oscillator B, I'm going to turn it on. We'll pretty much go all the way down to the top. And choose FM bass. I'm going to bring my motion all the way down, and that's about it. I'm going to route this through filter B as well, and make sure the amount for the shaper is turned all the way to 74. After this, we want to create a subtractor. So I'm going to go to my instruments and create a subtractor. I'm going to first mess around with the range. Then we're going to go into the oscillators and then the frequency and amp. So for the range, I'm going to set this to 1. I'm going to turn on my portamento to about 40. Same thing to the first Maelstrom. I'm going to set my oscillator 1 to a positive algorithm. I'm going to set it to a sine wave, and I want to take it down an octave. For the FM amount, I believe the FM, we turn it up to 13. Next, turn on the second oscillator and bring the waveform all the way down up to 29. Take it down 2 octaves and set it to a neutral algorithm, or a negative algorithm. Neutral is fine. Anyways, I'm going to turn up the filter 1 all the way up, and I'm going to turn my keyboard knob all the way to 127. I'm going to take up my decay and sustain on my amp. I'm going to push up the attack to about 30 and the release to about 40. And I'm going to hit tab. Now what I'm going to do is, for the audio input, I'm going to take shaper/filter A and plug it into our subtractor. But just be warned that when dealing with adding more and more devices, you actually want to right click on your mouse drum first, and let's say you want to create an RV7000 advanced reverb. It will automatically connect it for you. The only thing you have to do if you want to have things a little bit neater is just drag it down and hit tab to flip it back over to the front side, but it looks a little bit neater. So the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set my dry wet to 22 and my decay to 25. And I'm actually going to open up a preset, and I'm pretty sure it's called Treetops, all treetops. And I'm just going to bring my decay to about 20 should be fine for that. And my dry wet I'm going to bring down to 10. After this, I'm going to go to my creative effects and choose a Scream 4 distortion. I'm going to bring the damage to 40. I'm going to set the type to tube. I want to turn my P1 up to about 85 and my P2 to about 85 as well. After this, I'm going to create a M-class equalizer found in Studio Effects. Turn on low cut, and for my P1, I want to set the frequency to 3000.535 or something like that. Yeah, 553. Turn it on, take the gain all the way down, the Q all the way up. Remember, we want to remove this frequency, not silence it. So I'm going to take the gain all the way down. For our second frequency we need to remove is 5498 kilohertz. Bring the gain all the way down, Q all the way up. After this, we're going to go to our creative effects and choose a pulverizer. We're going to turn up the dirt to 22%. We're going to leave it on a low pass 24. I'm going to set my rate of my tremor to 2.67 kilohertz. What I'm doing with this is just resonating the frequencies so that way it matches with the synth. For the amount I attack, the tremor to frequency amount is going to be 43%. 43 positive percent. I'm going to turn on spread. And that about does it for the pulverizer. Let's see where we are now. Very gritty, but not quite mastered. So I'm going to go back to my Studio Effects and choose another M-class equalizer. I'm going to turn on my P1 and P2, and for the third frequency we're going to take out is 4.763 kilohertz. The reason why it has to be so precise is because I've already mapped out these frequencies beforehand. And so the second frequency we're going to take out is 7,000 kilohertz. It's pretty close, yeah, 7,000.012 kilohertz gain down, Q all the way up. After this, go back to your Studio Effects and choose an M-class maximizer. Take it off limiter, put release to auto, turn on soft clip, and for the amount, bring that to 105. And you guys have just created your electric eel synth. And I'll check you guys out in a few hours for another tutorial. Peace.